Take me to that happy hour I never had. Show me the girl I never met, I want it so bad. Where is that golden palace? Where is that whore called destiny? I think she ran on without me.
Welcome back to Lady Babylon. I have a couple of announcements before we begin today. Gnostic informant is being initiated into unassailable freedom. He has been handed over to the devil. It is a return to Bacchic mania. If his preparation is complete, he will come to celebrate Saturn with us. This week, Satan. A note from me, as your mistus, I do not make public the preparation. This is his business. Tonight's episode is about preventing rape and killing saints. I know that we don't have a lot of time together, so I'm going to make this brief. Tonight, I must start with a public service announcement. If you are being cornered, if you're being taken in the back or into a back alley or somewhere in a park where there's not a lot of people with an academic, if an academic coaxes you into some place that's isolated, always, always, always rely upon reason. Don't take everything you're given. Today, I had to witness a terrible, terrible intellectual and psychical molestation. And it took place in such a grievous and perverted way. In order to maintain status, and in order to maintain hoo-ha-ism, and in order to maintain the great facade of academia, with one little stroke, you can bring them short every time. With one little stroke. What was the weakness today? The weakness today was the mystery. The mystery, what happened? Everybody defines the mystery. And those who define it, who live the fairy tale, define it as the secret. Everybody knows it's the secret. Great hoo-has from great institutions will tell you that. And they'll say, go look it up. I suggest you do. And when you do dig down to the depth and get to the ground, the scientific ground, you'll see it means initiation. It means initiator, one who is directing, one who is leading. The mystis is the one who is leading the initiation. It is also the initiation. When Jesus said, I am the way, he was saying that because the initiation is the initiator. Yeah. He is the way. Yes, very good. So when someone, and get back, Jung, did you see what he did here? Jung, get down, right? Get your whip. Where's my whip? You broke my cup. It was Jung. If Jung understood the mystery, you are never going to understand Jung until you open your eyes, until you have ears to hear. And until then, don't pretend. Don't sit in your palace, your lofty palace, and pontificate pontificatiously. No, you don't. Everybody here who is in this congregation knows this temple is sacred. Here we can go to the source. Here we can find out what was being said. And here tonight, I'd like to start. So shout out to those of you who are used and abused. Yeah, it's time for us to stand up and take on our abusers. And that phony world that they keep trying to shove down our throats, that fake world that you know doesn't exist now, your eyes have been opened. Yeah, no more. No more of that. Tonight, I invite you to come to Salome. We go to Salome. In order to get to Salome, I want to resurrect the ghost of Oscar Wilde. You say I could have gone Crowley. Oh, yes. Well, when given a choice between a fine French cuisine and McDonald's, I have to choose Oscar Wilde. Thank you very much. I want to read to you a couple of lines. Here's a good one to start. How good to see the moon. She is like a little piece of money, a little silver flower. She is cold and chaste. I am sure she is a virgin. She has the beauty of a virgin. Yes, she is a virgin. She has never defiled herself. She has never abandoned herself to men like the other goddesses. Salome is the one who danced and killed the prophet. From her dance came the head on a silver platter. Dressed in silver he was for his death. Yes, killing saints. Why kill a saint? Let's see. Oscar, can you tell us what John said? John said, "Where is he whose cup of abominations is now full? Where is he who in a robe of silver shall one day die in the face of all the people?" It's you, John. It's you. Bid him come forth, that he may hear the voice of him who hath cried in the waste places and in the houses of kings. Salome, of whom is he speaking? A young Syrian. No one can tell, princess. John, where is she who saw the images of men painted on the walls? You and I have seen these images. We know where they are. Thank you, you dirty, perverted Ezekiel. Even the images of the Chaldeans painted with colors, and gave herself up to the lust of her eyes, and sent ambassadors into the land of Chaldea. Salome, it is of my mother that he is speaking. A young Syrian. Oh no, princess. Salome, yes, it is of my mother that he is speaking. Her mother is Herodias. And who is Herodias? She happens to be, if you're living in the Middle Ages, she happens to be a very important witch queen. Yes, if you're living in antiquity, she happens to be a very important witch princess. Yes. We see her ultimately elevated to queen. Yes, with her daughter, Salome. Isn't that nice? What does Salome think? It's my mother he's talking about. Who is she? Who is the moon? As you begin to see, you can use this guide to show yourself. You use Wilde's ghost to show yourself the rights. Where is she who gave herself unto the captain of Assyria, who have baldricks on their loins and crowns of many colors on their heads? Where is she who has given herself to the young men of the Egyptians, who are clothed in fine linen and hyacinth, whose shields are of gold, whose helmets are of silver, whose bodies are mighty? Go, bid her rise up from the bed of her abominations, from the bed of her incestuousness, that she may hear the words of him who prepareth the way of the Lord, that she may repent of her iniquities, though she will not repent, but will stick fast in her abominations. Go bid her come, for the fan of the Lord is at hand. Salome, but he is terrible, terrible. The young Syrian, do not stay here, princess. Salome, it is his eyes above all that are terrible. They are like black holes burned by torches in a tapestry of Tyre. They are like the black caverns where the dragons live, the black caverns of Egypt in which the dragons make their lairs. They are like black lakes troubled by fantastic moons. Do you think he will speak again? The young Syrian. Do not stay here, princess. I pray you do not stay here. Salome, how wasted he is. He's like a thin ivory statue. He's like an image of silver. I'm sure he is chaste. As is the moon. He is like a moonbeam, like a shaft of silver. His flesh must be very cold, cold as ivory. I would look closer at him. No, no, Princess Salome, I must look at him closer. The young Syrian, princess, princess. John, who is this woman who is looking at me? I will not have her look at me. Wherefore does she look at me with her golden eyes under her gilded eyelids? I know not who she is. I do not desire to know who she is. Bid her be gone. It is not to her that I would speak. I am Salome, daughter of Herodias, princess of Judea. John, back, daughter of Babylon. Come not near the chosen of the Lord. The mother has filled the earth with the wine. Your mother has filled the earth with the wine of her iniquities, and the cry of her sinning has come up even to the ears of God. John, daughter of Sodom, come not near me, but cover your face with a veil and scatter ashes upon your head, and get thee to the desert and seek out the Son of Man. Was it a conscious process that brought forth this right? Or was it something of a design, of a classics design, a way to bring to you, encapsulate a mystery? If you are able to read Oscar Wilde's Salome and have ears to hear, you will see her whom the mysteries hold as a center. You will see the eidolon. Oscar Wilde was able to bring you the eidolon, the image of the queen. Yeah. If you are going to sit in an ivory tower and talk about the mystery as a secret, those of us who have been to the sources will know that you are making things up from the perspective of the detritus of the last 2,000 years. You are perpetuating a false world that does not exist. The reality is far more interesting. It's far more interesting. Salome had John beheaded for a dance. It was in front of the king's highest generals and some visiting potentates. Doesn't sound like an average party to me. Does it sound like an average party to you? If you believe the Coptic sources, you'll know that Mary, the mother of Jesus, was herself a priestess in the temple. And you'll know that she was involved with the dancing of the purple. And you'll know that when the midwife inserted her fingers into her vagina to palpate, as any midwife would do, that's practice, to palpate her cervix, she found out she had to remove them because they burned. They burned. Mary is there. Salome is there taking the head of the Baptist. Yes, and how does she get that head? She gets that head for a dance. People don't consider Salome's greatest accomplishment was the silencing of a prophet through her dance. Yeah. What was she doing there? And what was it that Herod had to grant her up to half of his kingdom? Because when you swear things like that in public, Herod, Antipas isn't the only one doing this, right? This is a classical convention. You see it all over the place, the early literature, the late stuff. When you swear, when you take an oath, and it's public, the ears that hear are witnesses. And for Herod to swear in front of these assembled important big pants that he was going to give her half the kingdom up to what she wanted, he had to give her everything, anything she asked for, and she asked for everything, right? In order to reestablish the rightful place of her own mother, who this prophet was profaning. Oscar Wilde had ears to hear. He recognized the sources. And so that's why he can so accurately label Salome the moon of the mystery, she who meets you in the cave while you sleep. Yes. So next time a Jungian grabs you and takes you behind somewhere dark in an alley somewhere, it doesn't matter, under a bush, doesn't matter, wherever this Jungian wants to drag you and take you, and they have the guts, the temerity, the unmitigated brashness to say, shut up, to say that mystery is a secret. It shows you they have not yet opened the red book. They do not possess the Liber Novus, right? They don't know how to wield the serpent wand of the girl who is half virgin, half viper. The very images that Jung was possessed by when he sealed his Liber Novus. Yes, don't let them take you behind in the bushes and give you something that's from the last 2,000 years of detritus. It's not reality. I was talking with someone this week, and I want to jump to our hymn in closing, but I was talking to someone this week, yes, about the incident in the garden, and setting up the scene of that incident in the garden. And I just want to, could you close that? That's a little bit rude. Sorry, I've got a teenager. That incident in the garden, where we're talking about the setting of that place. Remember, there are three men who are standing at a distance. You're detectives, right? There were three men in a public park at 4 a.m. And there's one guy and there's three other guys standing at a distance from him, keeping watch. And they're armed because when the cops end up showing up to make the arrest with their informant. They've got their informant with them, right? He's going to actually point out the leader of what's going on. And when they show up and that naked kid runs off and somebody pulls out a sword and starts swinging at somebody, somebody from the temple gets their ear cut off. Yeah, and we have to understand that when the prostitutes show back up at the crucifixion, when not even the guys who were there, the enforcers, would show up, and the mob is crying out, kill this guy, kill this guy. We've got to establish that context to see what he was actually doing there. What is the reality, right? We will not go back to fairy tale world, right? We will not go back to Charlton Heston, right? No, we must go forward, and we must know what all of these elements were. Let's turn to, for the sake of our initiation, let's turn to, in this Bible study today with Salome, let's turn to the divinity. Good. Thank you for bringing that up, Chewy. This is an Orphic hymn, and I'm just opening it here myself, and I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to translate it to you from this Greek text. Yes, thesmophoron kaleo narthekophoron Dionyson. Yes, I call upon the thesmophore Dionysus, the thesmophore, the one who brings Themis. Themis, right? And by the way, this is a woman's voice. For those of you out here who think a man is saying this, you're wrong. This is performed during the thesmophoria. And if we just need to catch up, think rites of the Cora. Rites of the Cora, celebrations at Eleusis. All right? The thesmophoria is an event. Women only. There are only women singing these hymns. So when you shave your head, don't be surprised that I don't tell you need to shave your beard. Because if you're a woman in antiquity, you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. The doctors have all sorts of plasters and stuff to take care of, little hairs. But we're not shaving our beards. We're shaving our heads because we are women. So hold that in mind. This may surprise you. I want to take you to the hymn of Misa. I call upon the thesmophore, the narthex bearer. What's the narthex? That's that empty, hollowed out cane. That's that instrument that carries the fire of Prometheus. Yeah, it's a reed, right? It's a reed. Good. And it's carried by Dionysus. Yes, you may also know Prometheus. He hid the fire of Zeus. For those of you who have ears to hear, you'll know that he hid the fire of Zeus in the narthex. That's what he brings. Sperma polymneston, second line, poluonomon eubulios. Seed that is most remembered. Seed, I remember, we're thinking like Bronze Age Greeks. We're thinking like farmers. We're talking about Ceres, the golden fields we're about to come across. We're about to come across Isis in Egypt and the banks of the Nile. This is where we are, right? We're not writing this from Mars. Good. What is her name? Holy Misa. Wait a minute. Eubulius? Who is Eubulius? Eubulius is that dude, that mortal that witnesses the abduction of the Cora. He's the only mortal, and he brings that. He brings that wisdom, and so is therefore involved. Eubulius is in the rites. Eubulius is Dionysus. Yes, it's an epithet used for Dionysus. Wait a minute, Dionysus is a person? Yeah. Yep. Right? Now you understand why they talk about possession so much. Good. What is this Dionysus? This Dionysus is Misa. And the translators, at least Athanasakis, I don't remember Taylor's, but Athanasakis' translation of this, which is generally good, here you have to make a decision, because the text all of a sudden switches from masculine to feminine, starts describing a female goddess, saying she is holy, yeah, and she is unspoken, the areton, the unspoken, the unspeakable, the ineffable, Anasa, using the old Mycenaean wanasa, the word for that princess. Remember the Scythian princess that they found? Whoever was wearing that crown, that's a wanasa. That's a Bronze Age queen right there. Mary, hello, Mary Beard. Yes, we're talking about women-only cults. We're talking about women's performances. We're talking about queens. Mary, you need to wake up, Mary. Wake up, Mary. Devil calling Mary Beard. Wake up. Yeah, so and here I just want to, because we're wrapped for time here, the window's closing. I just want to finish our hymn here. Yeah. He talks about being in Eleusis at their rites and how nice that is. And he talks about Cyprus, right? Being on Cyprus with the beautiful crowned Cytherea, right? Right? Urania. We're talking about the worship of Urania here. And that, you mean that's the same as at Eleusis? Yes. Yes, right? This is the Themis bringer, right? This is the Thesmophore. This is the one who brings us the law. This is, oh, did you feel that shiver? Wait a minute, what was that? Yeah, that's the component of the mystery religion, the oracle. You mean Judaism and Christianity are offshoots of Saturnian Bronze Age worship? Yeah, they are. Oracular Saturnian Bronze Age worship. We are bringing Themis, right? Only the law on the pagan side is a she. Remember, we got to dress up. You ever see a Bacchant dressed like a man? No. Bacchants dressed like women. Maenads are the power. They're the ones, the women. They're the ones who are performing the rites. Right? You and I, if we want to see, if we want to get close, you got to dress like women. You got to dress like women. For those of you with ears to hear. Yes. Where else are we? We're by your mother. We're by your mother, Thesmophore. We're by your mother. Who is that? The melanophore, Isis. The melanophore. What is a melanophore? Remember, this "phore" is a term that's used in drug and cult, right? It's used on the medical side and cult side. It's a carrier of. Who is Lady Babylon? She is a carrier of that water. She's the one who operates within that realm. Who is Misa? She is the carrier of the black, of the darkness. She is a carrier of that toward dawn, that which reaches toward dawn. Remember, these are the dawn bringers that we're talking about. This is a family that predates Genesis, upon which Genesis is based. These are the dawn bringers, those who open the eyes. Isn't that nice? Those who open the eyes. They used to shout Ewadzo. Here in this hymn, they shout Iachos. 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 Another name of Dionysus. Yes, another name of Dionysus. This is what they shout. If you are going to enter in to the unassailable freedom, if you're going to become the initiate, if you're going to take that rift of reality and open it up, peel it back, and walk into it, if you're going to do that, you'll have to walk the way. You'll have to walk the way. And that won't be determined by any person. There's a reason. Did you ever notice they've got some funny stuff going on in Corinth, right? And there's some funny kind of incestuous stuff going on. There's some funny sexual stuff going on. There's a father and his daughter. And Paul says, give the guy over to Satan. Nobody ever questions, wait, what? Give the guy over to Satan, as if it's a direction for them to execute. He's not just throwing him a metaphor. He's telling them to perform a process to deliver that person over to the devil. For what? Why would you give some to the devil? For chastisement, for punishment. Yeah, for purification. You have been handed over to the devil for purification. Yeah, yeah. Do we end up at a dance? Yep, we end up at a dance with Salome. What kind of dance was that? It was a dance involving the abominations of her cup. Yes, and the ways of Sodom. Yes, if you don't know the ways of Sodom, it's because you don't have ears to hear. But there is a place that you can go and a way that will take you there. And let's go now. Do we have, I want to take now, we're done. I just want to take, thank you for your 30 minutes today. And I'm taking it very seriously, trying to keep us to that, hold us to that. Please be careful out there. Do not get fingered by an academic. Okay. We need reality. Yeah, because we're sworn to it, right? Reality, reason. I've kept you to your 30 minutes. I'm going to have Rob on for 5 to 10 minutes. Rob, tell me, what do you want to do with this material?
Hey, so I'm going to be cheeky and say, can we get fingered by Oscar Wilde then, instead of the academics? Because
yeah,
did you
like you've taken a look at Salome. You've taken a look at Salome now. Tell me what you see in Salome.
Coded. It's coded to the hilt, isn't it? How does Oscar Wilde know how to code this stuff and put it into a play that becomes something that's, it's not just a small thing, this isn't. I mean, you've got like your megastars who are obsessed with this stuff. You got Al Pacino, he's obsessed with it. He's done a play, he's done a film, he's done a documentary of a play, of a film. He's in our day and age, so he's reading into this. I mean, how does Oscar Wilde know about the wines? When he's writing this play, how does he know as to include these wines? Because he talks about 3 types of wines from different areas in geography. So how does he, that takes either, because he hasn't got the research capability we've got in his day and age. So where's he getting his information? That's the big thing for me. He's getting his information from, he kind of steers clear of the biblical side of things and gives Salome agency. He's kind of she comes to the forefront, doesn't she? And she becomes the star. Whereas it's been portrayed for so long as almost like a warning, the kind of message what's coming from down below through the vent from John. I mean, John is talking apocalyptic source, isn't he? But that doesn't come until after. But he's talking this. The moon's turning blood red, and the sun's going dark, and the sun's turning to black, and that doesn't come till later on, does it? If you look at it in a historical sense, that doesn't come till later on. So why is Wilde including this into? I mean, has he been initiated? Essentially, is where I'm going with this. Has Oscar Wilde been initiated? Because if you were to ask my opinion, I'd say yes. I'd say he was initiated through his education.
What do you think about his being in prison? Was that an initiation?
Yeah, I guess so, because he's feeling the wrath. He's talking about the dragon and feeling the wrath of disclosing information there. As far as I'm concerned, I think he's disclosing information. You've got to have some balls. You've got to have some balls to put that kind of document out there for those with ears to hear will be listening to that document, and they will know what you're saying in that document, in that play. You're making a play which is going to become super famous. It's a super famous play, you know. And it blows my mind how he can code this play. And it's not a long play. It's not a very long thing to comprehend and understand, but it's filled. It's absolutely filled. And that is what explodes out onto why you can make films about it, why it's so famous, in my opinion. So
yeah, and I think you're correct to ask, has he been initiated? That's the same question you can ask with Petrarch, who does everything, who actually performs necromantic sortes. You can ask. It's why the modern scholars on the Liber Novus, on Jung's book, will never catch up. It's why they're so behind and they're so lost in it. Is because they don't understand the practice. They can't comprehend that practice. So they'll talk about the symbols, but they'll entirely miss the mystery in which those symbols sit. Again, they don't have ears. Jung says that he seals the book. Break the seal then, right? Can they? No, they can't. And they won't break the seal, right? Because why not? No respect for the muse. No respect for the muse. Was Oscar Wilde able to circumvent whatever it was that's stopping the head of the great organizations of the world academically? Was Oscar Wilde able to circumvent that? Yeah, he was able to go from the outside. He remained a guardian or a dragon of those texts, and he used all the images that those texts contain, just like Petrarch, just like Boccaccio. I would say just like Proba did as far back as like 4th century, did by protecting the mystery and using, listen to the genius of this woman. She used Virgil to write the New Testament, to write the story of Jesus. She used Virgil. And when you think about it, that's phenomenal. It's not even in our brains to be able to say, I couldn't take, if I were a musician, I couldn't take Beethoven and Mozart and somebody else and excerpt from them something to create a symphony that sounded gorgeous, as if it's original work. And yet she is just using the elements. How is she able to do that? Because she understands the mystery and how it functions. They have to call her a Christian because of it, right? It's that powerful. So if you want to function in the world that we're in with this myth and this fairy tale that we're perpetuating, fine. I'd rather be with those people like Proba, who have opened up the reality and are masters of it. Yeah. So was Wilde initiated? I would just say that he uses the dragon element. Yeah, he does. He preserves the song. But I would say no more so than the Templars, no more so than Michel or Mike Maroulis. How does Mike Maroulis write perfect cult poetry, perfect hymns to be used in rites? How does he Orphic rites? How does he do that? When he's living, it's like, and the Latin then sucks anyway. It's terrible. So how does he go back? Are these dragons preserving? I don't know. Any word from Artaud on this?
Well, Artaud is deep in the middle of all this. Yeah, I'm still on researching Artaud, and I'm going to bring you some more information. But yeah, he went to Ireland thinking there was an apocalypse about to happen. He actually he made it all the way to Ireland with no money whatsoever. He just used a letter from an official as currency to get to Ireland. And when he got to Ireland, nobody could understand him. Nobody could figure out what he was saying, because he didn't speak Gaelic, he didn't speak English, and they didn't speak French. So he really struggled. So what I'd like to do is offer more information as to why he went there and what happened to him when he come back. So I don't want to go too early on that. I'd like to give a more detailed account, and I'm early in the research on that with
Good. And you're going to be talking to us a little bit about his magic too, and some things you found out, and he was trying to protect someone. Great.
Yes,
Great.
yes. I've got to make amends there because I have presented a spell on the last Bible studies. I presented a spell that I interpreted as a death threat, and I've recently got more information on that, and it's not a death threat. What it is a protection spell, and I'm trying to piece together and figure out the metaphoric basis of how you say to somebody, I'll send you the force of death in a protection manner. And somebody commented on YouTube, somebody commented after and said, I don't think it's a death threat. And that made me second guess myself, which is a good thing. I enjoy second guessing. I don't mind being mistaken and wrong. And I'll certainly address anything like that, such as another one. I'm not very good at this, am I? Because it is Mary Beard, as far as I can tell. But the English accent would be different on that. But then, yeah, it's not a death threat what he sent. And this poor Sophia Mosse was, I think she was Jewish, and I think she was taken off in occupied France, German occupied France, and she was taken off, which, like I say, I'd prefer offer a bit more detail than I've got right now.
Isn't it nice to have an extremely well read audience? I mean, this is like being in the museum. Here we can get excellent comments, and we have people say, hey, have you seen this? They'll pull something off the shelf. And they'll be like, look at this manuscript. Oh, it's got Dyer's formula and stuff like that from antiquity. We have a real opportunity here you're not an audience, right? You're not an audience. You're active participants now in the initiation. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And Rob appreciates that. Rob will be talking about Artaud in the future when it's appropriate. For Friday night, I want us to be able to see the initiation in progress. This is the goal. If we can reach that Herculean, unassailable freedom.
I'm looking forward to Friday night.
Yep, me too. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rob. And we'll see everybody Friday night. Want to tell you guys, and I can tell Rob is thinking the same thing. It's a real honor to have a great group of participants like you guys who consistently hang here with us. Yeah. And we need to start bringing everybody on board. We need to start making this, a more hospitable congregation. But anyway, I'm going to stop blabbing. Rob,
thank you very much. Thanks for having me on, and I'll see you next time.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Show me the girl I never met. I want it so bad. Where is that golden palace? Where is that horse called destiny? I think she ran